For more on this, CNN military analyst Colonel Cedric Leighton joins us. Thank you very much for being with us, Colonel. It's clear that the hearing showcased the deep divisions between Republicans and Democrats, but ultimately, the idea here behind this type of hearing is to find out whether the candidate is suitable for the job of Secretary of Defense. Based on what you heard, Colonel, did Pete Hegseth make a good case for himself?
Rafael, based on what I've heard, I would say no, he did not. And the reason I say that is because he clearly evidenced no experience. Take the ASEAN question, for example, from Senator Duckworth. Very clear that he did not really understand the nature of the geopolitical relationships, not only in that part of the world, but probably in a few other parts of the world. And he had experience at a lower level, at a more tactical level. That's wonderful to have that experience, but there needs to be much more if you're going to be in charge of something like the Pentagon, where you have about 3 million people who are active duty, reserve, National Guard, all, and of course civilians, all of those elements coming together to be part of the major national security apparatus in the world. And that's the really big thing here. He also does not really, based on what I've heard so far at least, does not seem to understand the interplay between other elements of military power, such as intelligence, diplomacy, all of those elements that really are part of a real military effort and a national strategic effort. So can he learn? I'm sure he can. But the problem is he has not evidenced that kind of capability or that kind of understanding at this particular point.
Now, Colonel, there's a lot of talk about how Hegseth apparently confused the Geneva Conventions with rules of engagement during the hearing. Can you tell us why they need to know the difference between the two is crucial for a U.S. Secretary of Defense? Why does he need to know this?
Right. So the Geneva Conventions in the present form were started after World War II, and that's an international treaty. Rules of engagement are developed by the military forces themselves when they go into a specific operation. So what he knows from his experience are rules of engagement, and he's been briefed on the Geneva Conventions. He understands that they exist, but the problem is he confused them, or at least appeared to confuse them in the hearing. And what that really means is that he doesn't understand the interplay between the major diplomatic efforts that have occurred in the past and could occur in the future, and what happens at a more strategic level, and then even at the tactical or operational level, which include things like the development of rules of engagement, such as, what kind of weapons are you going to use against a specific target? Will you use this type of munition? Are you going to go after a certain area? Can you fire on these individuals and not others? Those are the kinds of things that are protected by the rules of engagement. The Geneva Convention governs what those rules of engagement would be, but they are separate and distinct efforts.
Cedric Leighton, thank you very much as always. And straight ahead,